Today our topic of discussion is going to be transcription in prokaryotes. What is transcription? Transcription is the process by which a DNA molecule is transformed into an mRNA molecule. And this mRNA molecule in the subsequent steps undergo the process of translation to form the proteins. So transcription is basically the process of formation of RNA molecule from DNA molecule with the help of enzyme called RNA polymerase, which is actually, we can say, call it to be a DNA dependent RNA polymerase. It is actually a DNA dependent RNA polymerase. So this transfer or the transformation of a DNA to an RNA molecule is known as transcription. This transcription process in the case of prokaryotes takes place inside the cytoplasm only. This process takes place in the cytoplasm only in the case of prokaryotes, whereas in the case of eukaryotes it is found to be occurring basically in the nucleus or inside the nucleus. So the cytoplasm transcription in prokaryotes taking place in the cytoplasm. Next, the transcription process. In the transcription process requires a protein molecule or an enzyme which is DNA dependent RNA polymerase. This DNA dependent RNA polymerase in the case of prokaryotes is basically a multi-subunit enzyme. Is a multi-subunit enzyme. Here in the case of prokaryotes we see a single RNA polymerase can convert DNA molecule to RNA molecule, the various types of RNA molecule, be it mRNA, rRNA or tRNA. Whereas in the case of eukaryotes we see that there are three different types of RNA polymerase to catalyze the formation of mRNA, rRNA and tRNA. So this is a speciality, and it is a multi-subunit enzyme. It has got various subunits of RNA polymerase. The subunits being alpha, beta, beta prime, omega and delta. Sorry, not delta, sigma. So these are the 5. Now this alpha sequence is required for the proper recognition. This alpha is required for the proper recognition of promoter sequence. Beta prime is found in the catalytic center. Is present in the catalytic center of the RNA polymerase. The omega also plays in the stabilization of the RNA pol, and the sigma, it is the main factor which is required for the binding of RNA pol to the promoter. So this is the sequence which initiates the binding of the RNA polymerase to the DNA molecule. So without the sigma factor, the entire enzyme is known as the coenzyme, and when the sigma factor is added to the coenzyme, it is called as the holoenzyme. So we are concentrating on the holoenzyme form of the RNA polymerase, because this entire holoenzyme form of the RNA pol is required for the entire transcription process to take place in the prokaryotes. Now coming to the DNA strand of the prokaryotes. Suppose this is a DNA strand it's a double helical structure. It is a double stranded structure. They have a polarity, one from 5 prime to 3 prime and another is from 3 prime to 5 prime direction. So there are two strands, one is from 5 prime to 3 prime, another is 3 prime to 5 prime direction. As the transcription process moves from the 5 prime to 3 prime direction in the newly synthesized mRNA strand, therefore the template strand is actually a strand which is 3 prime to 5 prime in direction. So this strand, which is the 3 prime to 5 prime, is known as the template strand, and the other strand, which is actually similar to that of the strand which is going to be synthesized in the mRNA, is known as the coding strand. So this is the coding strand and this is the template strand. So one is the coding strand and other is the template strand. Now in the coding strand, in the template strand, there is a point from where the transcription starts, or it is called the point of initiation of transcription and is referred to as 0. Now just like number line, we represent the towards the left as the negative sequence and towards the right as the positive sequence. So there are certain sequences which are very required for the proper binding of the RNA pol. So one sequence is the -10 sequence and other is the -35 sequence. The -10 sequence is represented by TA, AT sequence. This is also known as the Pribnow box. This is known as the Pribnow box -10 sequence. -35 sequence is TT, GA, CA sequence. The -10 and -35 sequence are very much required for the proper binding of the RNA polymerase to the promoter sequence. So, and also in certain sequence like the GOL gene of E. coli, we see an up element which is present for which is also stabilizes the bond, stabilizes the RNA pol further, which is an up element, is an upstream element which is present in few cases. It is not a very common in all the systems or in all the DNA molecules. So there is something called the up elements. So this is what we have. Now when the RNA molecule, when the RNA polymerase molecule, so this is what we have. So RNA polymerase multi-subunit enzyme, it is having 5 subunits: alpha, beta, beta prime, omega and delta, and sigma. Sigma factor is the most important factor which is actually initiating the process of transcription. So this is what we have: a coding strand and a template strand. We have -10, -35 sequences which are very essential for the proper binding of the RNA polymerase molecule. Now the entire process of transcription can be divided into 3 main parts. The process of transcription can be divided into 3 main parts. 1 being initiation, 2 elongation, and 3 is termination. First, let's come to the process of initiation. Initiation is the process by which the process of translation can be initiated. In initiation, what happens is that there is a double-stranded DNA. Here is the -35 sequence, here there is the -10 sequence. This is the start point, and the DNA pol molecule comes and sit over here, thus leading to the formation of what is known as the closed complex. So when the DNA polymerase molecule is coming to the template strand and sitting in the 3' to 5' direction, it is leading to the formation of the closed complex. Next, this RNA polymerase, once it has been seated upon the 3' to 5' sequence of the template strand molecule, it starts to unwind the DNA molecule so that it forms the formation of the transcription bubble. It forms the transcription bubble, which leads to the formation of the open complex. It is leading to the formation of the open complex. How does it look? Suppose there is a strand. It is like this. So it is having a -10 sequence and -35 sequence, and the RNA pol is attached like this. So it's not like this. So it is like this. It is leading to the formation of this unwinding of the two DNA molecules, DNA strands, leading to the formation of the bubble-like structure, which is known as the transcription bubble. This leads to the formation of the open complex. Once the open complex is formed, now we are going to have what is the first, there will be incorporation of the first two ribonucleotides. There will be incorporation of first two ribonucleotide molecules in the initiation sites. The first two ribonucleotides being introduced into this site will lead to the formation of a third structure, which is known as the ternary complex. Ternary complex. Ternary complex is a structure which is being formed when RNA polymerase molecule binds to the template strand, and there is also incorporation of the first two ribonucleotide molecules when they are being incorporated. Once this incorporation is completed, this ternary complex actually forms a stable structure which can now undergo transcription. So this ternary complex actually provides stability. Ternary complex actually provides the stability to the entire structure. Now, once the ternary complex is formed, this ternary complex will try to move further, or it will try to move in the 3' to 5' direction. So, finally, we enter the stage. What is the next stage? Which is the process of elongation. In this stage, the RNA polymerase molecule will move along the 3' to 5' template strand, and will subsequently lead to the formation of the mRNA chain or the RNA molecule. So in this case, there will be the formation of the RNA molecule subsequently, and here there will be the RNA pol. RNA pol, when reach here, now it is going to enter the this is the mRNA chain, and this is the template strand, and this is the RNA pol. So now this is the phase, is the elongation phase, where the RNA pol is moving, and there will be, the RNA pol has two functions. One, before the RNA pol, it is resulting in the unwinding of the two DNA strands. Then it is leading to the mRNA synthesis by the formation of phosphodiester bond between the ribonucleotide molecules, and similarly towards the back or behind the ribonuclease, or rather to be precise, in the downstream of the, rather in the upstream of the DNA molecule, it is also leading to the coiling or recoiling or the rewinding of the DNA molecule towards the upstream of the RNA pol. So it is having three basic functions. So elongation is the process where there is a formation of the chain, or where the chain is being elongated. So this is what we have. But there is something called abortive initiation. Abortive initiation is the process up till where, so in initiation process there was a stage for the first 8 to 9 or 8 to 10 nucleotides, which is very important. The elongation process of the first 8 to 10 nucleotide being very important, because the RNA polymerase has a very important role that it soon after it starts its elongation process, it tries to terminate the sequence or terminate the transcription. So that is what is known as the abortive initiation. Once it crosses 10 nucleotide out of the template strand, it is now having a strength and it leaves out the sigma factor, which is no more required, because sigma factor is not required for the transcription process. It just required for the initiation of transcription. So after the first 10 nucleotide has been synthesized, it leaves out the sigma factor. Now it becomes lighter and moves with a more stable structure and forming a more stable ternary complex, and so it can elongate the chain easily. Then we have the elongation process, where the RNA polymerase molecule is having 3 phases: unwinding, rewinding, and also the elongation of the mRNA chain by the formation of the phosphodiester bond. So it has formation of phosphodiester bond between 2 ribonucleotide, and also it has got functions in the formation, in the unwinding and rewinding of the DNA, as I have already discussed. Now, so after the elongation process is completed, now the last step of transcription which is left is going to be the termination. Termination in prokaryotes can basically be of 2 types. One is the row dependent and other is the row independent. The row dependent termination requires a protein. The row dependent termination actually requires a protein called Rho, which is nothing but an ATP dependent RNA polymerase derived helicase. So this protein, this Rho protein, basically what it does, it breaks the RNA DNA hybrid. So if this is suppose a strand, this is the 3' to 5' direction, and this is the 5' to 3' direction, and here is the presence of the RNA pol. Now if the Rho protein is being transcribed along with this 3' to 5' direction sequence, then it will lead to the helicase activity. So it will lead to the separation of these 2 strands, and so the RNA molecule will be, this leads to the formation of just the mRNA molecule will separate, and also thus the RNA polymerase molecule will also separate from this place, and so there will be the termination of the transcription process. So this is what is known as the row dependent. This row will bind to the some site called the root site. There is a site called the root site which is required for the translocase or the translocation process to take place. So row dependent so this is what we have for the row dependent translation or row dependent termination of transcription, where we see that the DNA RNA hybrid gets destabilized. It becomes destabilized. So this is what we have for the formation of the DNA-RNA hybrid structure. Finally, we have the last one, which is the row independent. Row independent. Here we do not require any protein called row. This is also known as the intrinsic termination. This occurs basically due to a RNA polymerase, or rather, RNA chain, an mRNA chain which is being synthesized, which has got large number of inverted GC sequences and followed by a poly A tail, which will form a loop-like structure. So it is nothing like this. Here we have U, and here we have G, C, C, G. So here we are having the GC rich sequence. Here we are having the GC rich sequence followed by a poly U tail, or rather we have many uridine molecules present in the mRNA molecule. This structure will lead to the destabilization of the RNA from the DNA, and thus it will lead to the destabilization of the DNA-RNA hybrid structure, and thus it will lead to the termination of the transcription process, and thus the transcription process comes to an end. One thing to be remembered, that the transcription process in prokaryotes do not undergo any post-transcriptional modification. Moreover, in prokaryotes, transcription and translation can move simultaneously, or it can occur side by side, whereas in the case of eukaryotes, the transcription and translation cannot occur simultaneously. Only after the transcription ends, only can then the translation start. So this is what we have for the row dependent and row independent termination of the transcription. So this is what we have. So finally, the initiation process is, now let's recapitulate fast once. In the initiation process, the DNA molecule having two strands, the template strand and a coding strand. The template strand is a strand which is actually undergoing the process of which is used as a template, and this strand is basically the 3' to 5' strand. It is having a -10 and -35 sequence. -10 sequence being the Pribnow box or TATA80 sequence, whereas the -35 sequence being the TT-DATA sequence. These two sequences are very important for the proper binding of the RNA polymerase. Once the RNA polymerase is bound to the structure, it is forming the closed complex structure. Then the closed complex structure undergoes a conformational change, which leads to the formation of the open complex. This open complex structure now leads to the separation of the two strands of the DNA molecule, leading to formation of the transcription bubble. Once the transcription bubble is formed, the molecule starts the process of transcription. First, two molecules of ribonucleotides gets inserted, leading to the formation of the ternary complex, which gives some stability to the RNA pol sitting on the template strand. Now it starts the process of the abortive after the sequence has crossed the after the RNA pol has crossed the first 10 sequence, it is free of abortive initiation, because the RNA polymerase in most cases has a tendency to get aborted or get stopped the process of transcription just after synthesizing 2 to 3 ribonucleotide. So after it has passed the few about 9 to 10 sequence, it can only be, we can say that yeah, it's fine, and it's in a form which is very, very stable, and so it can continue the process of transcription. Next, after this phase, after which it has synthesized the first 10 ribonucleotide, it enters the phase of elongation. In the elongation phase, it goes step by step, and it elongates the chain, and it also has a property to unwind in front or in the downstream and rewind at the back or the upstream region, and also it goes on inserting the required ribonucleotide, forming the phosphodiester linkages. After it has undergone the entire process, lastly we have the step of termination, in which we have two types of termination. One is a row dependent, one is a row independent. Row dependent termination requires a protein called Rho, which is a protein which is nothing but a RNA dependent helicase molecule. So that is that protein will actually help in the termination. It will bind to the root site and also will get transcribed with the growing mRNA chain and lead to the formation of the destabilization of the RNA DNA hybrid. And so this is how we can say that the termination is autotic. Another one is the RNA independent transcription termination, where we have brought the intrinsic termination process, where the mRNA molecule itself form a loop-like structure, where there is, due to the presence of excessive amount of GC sequences, inverted GC sequences, and also it has got several U followed by it. This structure will lead to the destabilization of the DNA RNA hybrid. Thus, we can say the transcription process is terminating. Now, let's come to few of the clinical aspects of this. There are going to be this transcription in prokaryotes. We mostly are interested with bacteria like E. coli in the case of prokaryotes. In E. coli, which is the most commonly used prokaryote or bacteria in microbiology laboratory, basically we find that it is having a sigma 70 factor. Sigma is present in the 70 form, means it is a subtype of the sigma factor which is present in the E. coli molecule, which actually helps in the initiation of transcription. And the clinical aspect now is going to lead to, we are having various antibiotics like actinomycin D, rifampicin, which are actually nothing but the transcription inhibitors. So these antibiotics are the molecules which are basically the transcription inhibitor. They inhibit the process of transcription. So this is the important part, because these are the very commonly used antibiotics which are being used. So these antibiotics are very much required for the transcription process to be inhibited, and thereby these antibiotics has the capability of killing the bacteria. So this is what we have for the transcription in prokaryotes. Thank you.